democracy allows for fair hearing. This is reckless. This is ungodly.
When news break, we engage experts in critical analysis.
Do you see your party coming into power come 2019?
This administration will succeed and succeed well.
You cannot be running a 4-year tenure like you are running a 20-year tenure.
He has done fairly well, especially where insurgency and terrorism is concerned.
Then it gets controversial.
They have a right to their opinion. Can we, very interesting gentlemen, just hold on.
I am about principle and I'm about focus.
Now, you see, let me
All right?
let me say this.
So that our soldiers will be free. We should also ask for justification.
Core Digest, your #1 program for current issues. Welcome back on the program. Still talking national security. President Muhammadu Buhari speaks to on armed bandits. I still have my guest in the studio this morning, political consultant, legal practitioner, Kurtis Adiba. Many thanks for staying tuned.
Thanks for having me.
Ijo activist, a public affairs analyst, Presidor Gomorai. Thank you so much for staying tuned.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we have to start providing solutions to some of this crisis. Talking about the spate of killings in the country. What do you think is the way out of this at this time that is so critical ahead of the general election? Kurtis.
I don't think it is. It should be because of the general election that is close. What I think is at every point in time, Nigerians need to be secured. All right, and you know, in trying to provide security, there are a lot of things we can do as a country. One of them, I think, is to strengthen the law enforcement agencies of this country for them to do their job. Let me give you an example. You're talking about the herdsmen crisis, right? Let's assume that I'm a farmer and you are a herder. Okay? You take your cattle or your cows or whatever, all right, they're grazing, and they come into my farm and destroy certain things that I have planted for my survival. You know, even in our traditional societies, there are penalties for these things. If your goat strays into my, your goat strays into my farm or eats something that I've kept outside, within our traditional communities, the owner of the goat will be made to pay for it. And in this country today, we have laws that regulate these behaviors. So if you encroach or invade unlawfully my territory and cause me damage, the owner should be able to, the owner of those cattle or cows should be asked to pay for the damage done. But what happens, and what we have seen is that when this happens, there is no enforcement of rights. Now, if I then take the laws into my hand by going after the man's cows and killing them or attacking him, there's also provisions in the law that deals with my actions. And even in the process, anybody is killed, we have laws that criminalizes killing of people in this country unlawfully. So the starting point will be that we need to begin to enforce our laws. And we will do this irrespective of who is involved, because nobody is above the law, nobody is below the law. We are all under the law. That's number one. Number two, this is not an issue that one solution fits all, because all the killings across the country is not essentially about clashes between herdsmen and the local people. There are also some ethnic tensions. And so we will do well to go beneath the surface, cut through the loudest noise, and avoid the sensationalism of the big headlines, and go there and begin to find out what are the factors that are stoking these tensions and then leading to this conflagration and eventual killings across, both sides. So I think there's a lot the government could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking that the service chiefs should be fired or should resign? That the president should rejig his cabinets?
I think whether the president wants to rejig his cabinet or fire his service chief is his prerogative. What I don't understand is whether sacking of service chiefs automatically translates into improved security? I don't know. I'm not in government. I'm not a security man. But if I were the president, and I'm hearing a lot of people saying so, and saying there's a need to change the security team, there's a need to tweak, you understand? I probably want to take a second look at the security architecture and see who is heading. Because when you bring in new people sometimes, there's a new energy to want to do something different, and that might provide a solution. But like I said, I'm not the president. I can't decide for him. As a citizen of this country occupying the office of a citizen, I can only give my opinion. And that's exactly what I'm doing here.
Okay, President, what solution do you have for the security challenges bedeviling the country at the moment?
I like that word, bedeviling. Except we are not being honest. If we want to be sincere, we have to look back how we came to this point. You see, when we say this, people think we don't mean well. Here, look, check at the Security Council meeting. Except for the Chief of Naval Staff and the Chief of Defense Staff, who is from the West, and the Chief of Naval Staff from Cross River.
Is that the solution to this crisis?
Wait, to put everything on platform, you have to bring everybody and make everybody feel that we are one. When you treat me as outsider, I have to be negative minded towards you. That's the truth. If you carry everybody along, even the Calabar man will appreciate the fact that you are taking care of him. You see the setup. Chief of Naval Staff, Cross River. Chief of Defense Staff from Oshun or somewhere. The rest, Ekiti. The rest are from the north. So when they have a Council of State, Security Council meeting, only 2 Southerners. I must say this. General Murtala Mohammed's ADC is from Lagos, from the records. Akishaiwa. Check Obasanjo's ADC. You are a nationalist. You have to pick from other place.
Is that why we're having
because
the spate of killings in the country?
Okay, see the killings.
Is that
the
what solution? What solution do you have
now,
for this?
Check when there are killings in a particular section of the country. You see the level of attention the government will create. But when it happens in other part of the country, particularly the north, except for some persons put it on the public domain, you won't hear it. These are facts.
I bet you disagree with you on
Yeah,
that.
you can disagree. That's the beauty of democracy. I have my own position. You bring your position. We not look at it and marry. And then we say, no, yours is wrong. Yes. But what we see, I am from the south. What we see shows that a section of the country dominates and determines. Wait.
What solution do you have for the president?
I just gave you. Let him now open up and say Nigeria is our own. And then pick everybody from everywhere. When you pick everybody, when I mean everybody, I mean the offices, it shows that you are committed. But when you neglect and you abandon a section, even your own people will know that he is using us. You mean well, yes, but the actors will say, now we in charge. How are we seeing this? Look at the position. Check out the Security Council. I just gave you 1 point. Security Council meeting dominated by a particular section of the country. And when you say section, it's not every tribe. A particular tribe dominates it. Chief of Naval Staff. You can take it from me, but it's the truth. At least I'm going to 70, age-wise. I served on. I know my activities when it comes to individuals. I was in the UPN camp. I worked with Hausa. I told you I was born there. I have an Hausa name. But the truth is, people see other sections of the country not being nationalistic enough, and they deny us and treat us as second-class, third-class citizens. All right. The security situation will improve when you classify everybody as equal.
All right. Well, many thanks for discussing this particular topic. We'll move on to other matters, talking about issues ahead of the 2019 general election. At this time, we have many issues talking about this election, the budget of INEC is still pending in the National Assembly. Where exactly are we going? Talking about the electoral amendment bill, which is still pending on the table of the president. When will the president give his assent to all of this? All this ahead of the 2019 election. And how prepared is INEC, that is the Independent National Electoral Commission, preparing for the 2019 election vis-a-vis the permanent voter card, which has been extended till the end of this month. Well, people indeed going out there to get registered and get their permanent voter card. My guest is here, public affairs analyst, Ijo activist, Presidor Kurtis, Adigwa, legal practitioner and political consultant. Many thanks for staying tuned, gentlemen. Back to you, Kurtis. Issues ahead of the 2019 election. One key issue I want us to start with is the budget of INEC. What exactly is happening with this one?
Sorry, I don't know if you will allow me just a minute to address the last point we talked about, security.
Okay.
Before I dive into this, I think we must understand that the purpose of history is not to make men happy, but to make us wiser, so that we can look back and say, where did we get it wrong? We had governments in this country that distributed the security architecture on ethnic lines and all that, and we had insecurity state. I hope you remember that. The former president Obasanjo rotated service chiefs around. Jonathan followed, Yar'Adua and co. That didn't end insecurity. And I'm not saying it's not desirable, but the desires don't match the data. And we must appreciate that, look, it's not just about where the service chief come from. Until the politicization of appointment of service chiefs, there used to be what is called the custom tradition and the rules of seniority in the services that guides this appointment. It's okay, we politicize it, that's fine. So the mere fact that certain individuals come from one other place is not a reason.
Are you saying that federal character does not play none of that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the services used to have their rules, but then we've had situations in the past where we had service chiefs appointed from different places and it still didn't solve the issue of insecurity.
Now that we have it concentrated in one particular region, have you seen any change?
Well, I wouldn't know. But let me tell you, this is the point I'm trying to make. This is the anchor of my point. You know, when we say all the service chiefs are from one tribe, we are being disingenuous because we don't have the facts. And I'm going to lay it out for you right now. He's talked about the chief of naval staff coming from Cross River State. That's correct. The chief of defense staff coming from Ekiti State.
That's correct.
That's correct. But do you know the chief of air staff is a Fulani man from Bauchi? The chief of army staff is not an Hausa man, and it's not a Fulani man. There is this thinking that anybody from the north is either Hausa or Fulani. No, there are so many other. The Inspector General of Police, for instance, from Niger State, is not an Hausa man, he's a Nupe man. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think Nigerians need to have this information. You know, because the thinking is that because they are all Northerners, they are Hausa and they are Fulanis. That is, the point is, it is desirable that we spread these positions around and build national unity, at least on the surface of it. But is it enough to stop the insecurity situation that we have?
When it comes from a particular region,
because
northern region.
Let me make the.
You have just less than 1 minute.
Yes, you know why I'm saying this thing? One of the reasons why our country is such in a terrible situation, is that we have politicized everything.
Yes.
You know that if you want to make an appointment today,
yes,
your number one priority is not to look for merit, but who can you trust to protect your interests? That's why when you go to local governments in most states today, majority of them are thugs or area boys or people who fight to support the governors. They just put
can you really work with someone you don't trust?
Look, if you have not personalized the system, it does not matter the people you are working with. What you'll be looking at is their skills. Let's
go back to other issues ahead of the 2019 election.
2019 election is upon us. And the question is, Are we prepared? Is that what?
I'm talking about the INEC budget, which is still at the mercy of the National Assembly.
Well, there's a lot of controversy around that, but I want to cut through the noises and then state what I think is the right thing to be done. The situation is the National Assembly is saying the presidency did not submit the budget on time. The presidency is saying we don't prepare the budget for INEC. INEC has to prepare, otherwise they will no longer be independent. They have to prepare the budget and give it to us. And when they give us the budget, we transmit it to the National Assembly. Now, the argument again is that we got that budget on a Tuesday and we're going to go on recess. And we couldn't have waited to go on recess. Okay? And I'm saying, why? Why wouldn't you put up your recess a little bit forward and deal with this national, very important national issue? These things are not cast in iron or in stones. Human affairs leaves room, for flexibility. I'll give you an example. There's going to be midterm election in November in the United States. All the congressmen, senators, and House of Reps, most of them should be back in their constituencies campaigning. But they are all staying in Washington because of important national issues to deal with them. So I'm saying, even if you got this budget late, as they are saying, there is no reason why they couldn't have taken some few days to deal with this issue. Now we're talking about the National Assembly members that as we speak are all in Abuja. Okay? Because even though they are telling you and I that they are on recess, but they are in Abuja perfecting intrigues for personal survival. One party trying to get rid of one setup, and the other set, some members sleeping in the National Assembly to prevent others from taking over. Do you understand? And I'm saying, in the interest of the nation, can these guys come and sit down and pass this budget? Because all the manipulations, all the noise, all the talk, is about the same election that keeps them relevant in the system.
Is it about their interest or the interest of the nation or national interest? Let's open the phone line and now to get the pulse of Nigerians on what we are looking at this morning, talking about issues ahead of the 2019 election and that of the national security. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll be opening the phone line to get your comment on issues that we're discussing at the moment. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
London, New York or Lagos, business or holiday, home or office, you can now carry out your tax transactions from anywhere in the world. You can now file all your tax returns, pay online, get a receipt and even process your tax clearance certificate from anywhere in the world online and in real time. All you need to do is log on to www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-services and be introduced to the world of innovation, convenience and transparency from the FIRS. You can also pay stamp duty as you register a new company with the CAC or for other transactions that require stamp duty payment online. You can also file your withholding tax returns and determine the withholding tax deducted from you is in government covers so that you can get your receipt within 45 days as long as the deduction has been remitted. Yes, all of this and more online at www.firs.gov.ng/e-services. FIRS, making tax administration as easy as ABC. Please note that all FIRS services are free of charge. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service. It pays to pay your tax.
Come back on the program. We open the phone line now to get your pause on what we're discussing this morning and the earlier one talking about national security. And let me let you know that you don't have that right to attack any personality on the program this morning. Make your calls and comment as plain as possible so that we can have smooth communication on the program this morning. Reduce the audio of your TV set. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Now, back to you. Let me come to Presidor now. Well, okay, we have Joseph calling us from Lagos. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Joseph. Good morning, Joseph. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, happy to be on your program this morning once again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the issue being discussed this morning about the national or the next year election.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the the man on speech, just like what he has said. There's nothing stopping the National Assembly from stopping or amending their research for the interest of the nation. Then being postponed it or making an excuse is that they are on recess or the budget came late a bit. It's not in the interest of the masses or the people of Nigeria. That's my own view.
Okay, thank you very much.
On the issue of security.
Okay.
Sorry to say this once again. Our man on white, please, this is national issue. Television is a national issue. People in abroad, people everywhere, they are listening to us. We have only one country in this country, in Nigeria, to live. Those that comes on air, that have the opportunity to come on air.
Okay. What's your own take on national issue? I said earlier that
national issue, but just like the man on suit is talking on the unity and the interest of what Nigeria can go. But the man on white, I don't know.
Thank you so much, Joseph from Lagos. Thank you so much, Joseph from Lagos. Well, I said earlier, you don't make when you talk about the guests of this program, you are even making them more popular. Well, just go on with the issue. Leave the guests alone. Whatever they say is their own personal opinion. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Back to you, President, at this time. Now, the budget of the National Assembly. Are you not worried that the budget of INEC is yet to be passed less than 200 days to the election?
Well, sincerely, if you have to view it that way, we are concerned and worried. But the truth is, when did the INEC, when did they actually package this budget? And how come it took them this long for the budget? I expected that the 2019 budget, before it was passed, the INEC budget will have gone into. So it tells you there's something going on somewhere. If not, how come the House is going on, the National Assembly is going on recess? That's when the budget came on. And don't forget, at this instant, the Christians, the Muslims have these programs. You cannot deny their rights. They have these pilgrimage moves. A lot of people could say they are there in Abuja, but a good number of them traveled out. Those for the religious Islamic group probably are in Mecca for the pilgrimage. Those for the Christian group, at this instant, they did that. We should tolerate ourselves. I am thinking INEC will have earlier prepared this budget and sent to the presidency, the executive arm, for them to check. But along the line, I just believe there is something wrong somewhere. And that's what we are seeing all over. Even in security, there's something wrong. It's a game plan to probably delay. Because if you see the development in recent times, it's shocking. Look at the level of security awareness now. Consider that period when people were being mowed down in different parts of the country. But now, because of 2019 election, Mr. President too has come out to speak about security.
Are you saying, well, he has not been, we've gone past that now.
Yeah,
what
we've
are you
gone past that, but
he has not been talking about
because
the issue of insecurity in the country?
Because of election, you see things that you don't expect being thrown up and unnecessarily to heighten the system. You talk about voters registration exercise.
Just a moment. You continue with that. You continue. Just a moment, please. Alex is calling us from Uyo. Thank you so much for joining us, Alex.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
Yes. On the issue of INEC, I suppose that they should take the first place. INEC is supposed to be an arm of the executive. 2019 election is not coming to them as a surprise. It's circumstance that 2019 election must hold. And I suppose they should have been prepared earlier and put hands on them to ensure that their budget gets to the National Assembly on time. Everybody knows that once the election is very near, everybody goes politicking. So you cannot bring out your budget at a time when you know that these members are going politicking. from now till January, it's all about politics in primaries and all whatnot. So instead of hitting the entire blame on National Assembly, they should take the first blame. When you say reconvey, there are also committees. The committees must sit. The committees, you cannot bring a bill to the House without the committees sitting and reviewing those bills. The way they are sitting now and saying some frivolities in the budget, for me personally, I feel that part of the interest is to hurriedly push out the budget with so many duplications of figures, so that you just overlook the essential things and pass the budget and they don't do what they want to do. They should have given enough time for the National Assembly to do a proper audit, a proper review of their budget. What we are doing now is like a fire brigade approach.
Okay.
So, first of all, let us throw the blame back to INEC. They have failed in doing what they should do.
Okay,
instead of blaming
thank
the
you
national.
so much, Alex from Uyo. Okay, back to your line of thoughts.
Like he rightly said, I don't think I have anything to say again. The truth is that there is a plan by a certain section of the country and persons to make sure the next election, 2019, will pray, comes and go freely. It's all an agenda, because by my thinking, the government of the day is not meeting the aspiration of the people, the masses.
Even if
so, the only way is to throw a lot of.
Even if INEC submits the budget late, don't you think in the right frame that the National Assembly should have reconvened to talk about this issue? Well, Peter is calling us from Bauchi. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Good morning, Emma, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning.
God bless you guys. God bless Nigeria. And like I always say, I always try to talk with direction and inspiration from God, because I believe the betterment of this country is in the hands of God, and God will do it for us. Whichever way it might be, as bad as it might be, there are so many issues on ground. First, I will try to say one or two things. Let's look at the budget issue. Everybody is screaming and talking about this budget, blaming the National Assembly. I don't know what I have to say on that issue. Well, I don't think the National Assembly had the autonomy. Let me state this and relate it. If the budget was passed late, and now they are not blaming the National Assembly for not reconvening, let us imagine the situation of these two cannot aircraft that were coming by 2020. That the money was paid earlier for something that is to come 2020. And
hello, Peter. Can you speak up so that we can hear you clearly, please?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I said, now let's look at it that we're blaming the National Assembly for not reconvening for this budget of a thing. And the budget we know was passed late to them. And then the issue of a plane or planes that will come by 2020, money has been sent to America, something that will have 3 years to come. And nobody's talking about it. Why would
Okay. Well, my guest here cannot hear you clearly. Thank you so much, Peter. Well, what he is saying at the moment is that why are Nigerians blaming the National Assembly concerning this INEC budgets?
Let me explain. I think people need to understand the facts. One, we had a national budget that was submitted to the same National Assembly November last year. It took 8 months to pass the same national budget. The funding for INEC is not coming by way of supplementary budget. It's coming by way of environment that seeks to remove certain amounts, certain sums of money that members of the National Assembly had taken from projects submitted to them by the executive for projects they want to do in their constituencies and in some other areas. The president is saying, I'm not asking for more money. I'm saying to you, give me a portion of that money to fund the election. Now, whichever way you want to look at it, and I understand that some people thrive in partisanship, but this is beyond partisanship. What happens if we don't hold the election? Let us even agree or concede here for a moment that the presidency or the executive was late in submitting the budget to INEC.
Okay.
To the National Assembly.
And that was a question I raised earlier that I wanted him to answer.
Yes. So
you will continue with that. Let's quickly join Aminu. Aminu is calling us from Nasara. Thank you so much for joining us, Aminu.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My issue goes through like this. Because I was having the issue of this electoral, this INEC of a thing. INEC committed their budget, as they said, they are come to the National Assembly as a late issue. But I meant to understand that the National Assembly are there specifically because of the Nigerian matters, and in which every law they made there is not rigid, it's much flexible. When we go to the rules of law, every law that is made not against the interest of the nation, I think is anti-law. So I think for the best interest of the mass, I expect the National Assembly, as in the Senate President, should have to call back that, because they used to go on recess. When the national issue has come, they will suddenly come back to address that issue. Then they still went for their own recess. There's nothing bad of coming back and then address the issue and go.
Okay.
Like this, the man in white, he was taking out of the interest of the nation. I don't want a biased mind.
Oh, no. You can't see that on here. Thank you so much, Aminu from Nasara.
The point I was making, even if we agree that the submission was late to the National Assembly, is there nothing called sacrifice of public officers in the country? Must it be about their comfort? And I want to ask a rhetorical question. If this budget was about the budget of the National Assembly, would they find time to pass it or not? They would have found time.
But there's a critical issue that we're leaving out in all of this.
Yes.
Is that of the impeachment saga of the president of the Senate.
It should not be an issue.
In all of this.
Because you know why? The Senate President himself has said, I am not having nightmare or dream about this. I'm not even bothered because they don't have the number. Do you understand what I'm saying? Listen. 2 days ago, we lost Senator John McCain in the United States. I like John McCain for one quote, and I use it all the time. He said, we have been taught correctly that courage is not the absence of fears, but our capacity to act in spite of our fears. So if the Senate President's problem is the fear that he will be impeached, then he's not a courageous man, as he wants Nigerians to believe that he is.
Emmanuel is calling us from Togo. Thank you so much for joining us, Emmanuel. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you and to the guest.
Good morning. Go on.
I want to contribute to what our discussion here. Please, I want us to understand that Nigeria as a country, we need to be united. And for everybody to be involved is the essence of unity. You're talking about the security apparatus. If we all concentrate all the security apparatus in a particular region, that does not call for unity. It does not call for unity. No matter the issues or arguments you try to place on it, it is irrelevant. You must involve everybody in the Nigerian project. That is how to build a united nation. That is how to build a united country. But when all the securities are concentrated in a particular country, this we have not seen before. All other presidents have done Nigeria, but we have not seen this type of situation before. It cannot be said that it is only in the north that good leaders in the security can be gotten from. So we must talk something that will. And once you try to tell the truth, you see some people calling from the north and saying that people are biased. He's talking the man they want to support for. He's saying it's the truth. We must all be involved for Nigeria to move forward. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Let me round up. I think there's something we have seen in this country, and you too will bear witness to that fact, that Senator Bukola Saraki is a courageous man. Okay? He's fought political battles, he's won most of the political battles. Senator Saraki should not be afraid of the fact that he will be impeached and fail to reconvene the National Assembly. I think it will be to his credit and it will be to the service of the nation that the National Assembly should come and sit down and take a look at this budget and pass it. The election must go on. You know, it must go on.
Presidor, don't you think it's the needful should be done concerning this one?
I agree with him.
In what sense?
You just said it. The election must go on, and Saraki should convene. The houses should meet and then probably pass the budget. Yes.
So you are not coming out in your true color to answer this question.
You see, true color means to go in opposition. I don't know. You had demand from Nasarawa. I mean, he said it. You see, the truth is this. He raised an issue, and I support the concept. What's bad in that?
Now, one key issue here that we're leaving out also is the amendment to the electoral bill of 2010. It's still at the doorstep of the president. We've seen the president signing this anytime soon.
Well, maybe he's a lawyer.
I'm directing that to
I'm
you.
not a lawyer. I don't know much about those intrigues. He's a lawyer. I'm an activist. He will be in a better position.
Well, because of our time, it's pending before the president for his assent.
Yeah.
The president had some issues with some of the provisions, which has to do with the reordering of the sequence of election. I understand that is being worked on, and the executive and the legislature, are talking. However, if the National Assembly is so serious about passing these laws, there is a way to pass it without the president, which is to get, a veto-defined majority in both houses and pass the law. You understand? So the Constitution provides for a period within which the president must give his assent or withhold. And if they think the president has not done what is right for the country because of his objections on certain issues, and they have the number, they can as well. But what I'm saying here is that both the National Assembly and the executive must always find grounds to act in the interest of the Nigerian people and the nation.
Do we still have any synergy with them, the executive and the legislature? Adamu is calling us from Mina. Thank you so much for joining us, Adamu. Good morning, Adamu. Are you there?
Hello, I am still there.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Go on with the comment, please.
Yes, I am there. Yeah, good morning, please. I just want to make a quick. Honestly, I think I wouldn't like to say you are getting politics wrong. I think the fear of Senate President is most likely the issue of this. That is exactly fair.
The line is not that clear. Can you change where you are so that we can hear you loud and clear?
Hello?
Okay, go on.
Yeah, and secondly, please, I want you to understand that it is not only the INEC budget that is sitting there in National Assembly. There is probably the capital executive budget that is already there.
I can barely hear you loud and clear. Well, I can barely hear you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I think I heard what you said, that it's not only INEC budget that is pending before the National Assembly. But again, we must also make this point very clearly. The INEC budget is time-bound. You can't approve the INEC budget in January next year and expect that they conduct election in February. So people must understand the urgencies of the situation. Now, people say, it's an attempt to twist. Look, I don't understand why it's an attempt to twist. The fact is that INEC is going to conduct election that all political parties will participate. And what we are saying is, look, if we don't hold this election, it's going to affect how the international agencies will rate the economy. It will affect the perception of the outside world, and it will create internal crisis. So what is leadership all about? Leadership is to make those tough decisions, even when they are not convenient. So I'm appealing to the leadership of the National Assembly that this is your call, okay? Nigerians are looking up to you to take the right steps, reconvene, pass the budget. And then you have done what you need to do for the country.
Do you see the president signing the amendment bill of the Electoral Act of 2010 anytime soon?
Well, I think if they harmonize
you answer that,
the sub point,
Chooks is calling us from Taraba. Thank you so much for joining us, Chooks.
Good morning. It's Jude, not Chooks.
Okay.
Jude, not Jude.
Okay, Jude, go on.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to make my own contribution based on the budget of the INEC. If you look at that budget critically, the electoral act that is before the
president. Nobody is talking much on that. And that electoral act is a working document, if being signed, that will guide in executing the budget itself. So what are we saying? The issue of blame game should not come up now. The executives have not even do what they are supposed to do by assenting to that electoral act, so that we know that we have a working document that will guide us in the election that we are going into. So we want to approve a money or get the money before having or working out how to spend it. That is not right. So what we should do, the executive will work on the electoral act. Even that electoral act has been on the table of the president, he jetted out of the country without attending to it. We never raised the issue. So the issue now is that what is on his table, he should look into it. And when you look at the budget that is in the National Assembly, the committee in charge of that has been keenly looking into it.
Okay,
so
good.
If we are shouting that the senior president has not reconvened, it will be as if nothing is being done about that.
Thank you so much.
Nobody can say that they are
Jude
sitting there.
from Taraba, you made a point there.
Let me tell you.
Okay.
I think he doesn't understand one fact, and that is to say that whether the new electoral law being proposed is signed into law or not, there is an as we speak, there is an extant electoral law that guides our election, and elections can be conducted under the existing electoral act.
We've even had series of court orders on the sequence of the election.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So to say that until that amended law is signed into law, we cannot ask for budget for the election, it's not true. I'm saying that we have an extant law under which we can conduct election. It's only amendment that is being sought to some areas. And if those amendments fail, or the president withhold assent, and the National Assembly members cannot override his veto, all right?
Okay.
It does not mean that we cannot hold election. So the talking point that, you know?
Francis is calling us from Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us, Francis.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. Please, I would like to start from the issue of national security. We are talking of national security, and here is a group of people known as the IPOB proclaiming to go on their own legally as allowed in the UN Charter. I'm surprised by the moderator because he's a legal practitioner. They didn't carry out any arm. There was no any force used in the course of fighting for their rights, which is allowed in the UN Charter. And here is another group killing people anyhow, anywhere. They are just killing people. And the press has not said anything concerning it. It is a very bad issue that a group of people are killing people. They are not proscribed as terrorists. And here is the people that are just seeking their rights as recognized in the UN Charter. And you proscribe them as terrorists. Secondly, let's go to the issue of the INEC. Now, the INEC budget is there and is being looked into. As the president has stepped to sign the law of the sequence of the election, the president is refusing to sign that law because
it's not only the sequence that is in that electoral bill, Francis. It's not only the sequence there.
Hello?
It's not only the sequence. Let's get it right. The fact right. It's not only the sequence of the election that is in that particular bill. There are several amendments in that bill.
Yes, correct.
Yes. The president is refusing to sign this bill because he feels that it's affecting indirectly or directly.
What are the amendments?
All right.
Can it tell Nigerians what the amendments are?
Thank you so much, Francis.
It doesn't have to be a lawyer. When you come to the public square to make comments,
thank you so much.
You understand what I'm saying? When you come to the public square, claiming to know, you cannot hide under the fact that you are not a lawyer. The fact is that.
But did you agree with the initial statement?
Look,
he's talked about a particular section.
Okay,
People
let me
came out and asked that I don't want the formality.
You know, I've said something here. It is only in this country that people run fat-free campaign. It's so sweet and fantastic and sensational. Oh, the UN allows people to go their separate ways. But we don't talk about the protocols.
That's what they said.
The protocols that are entrenched.
That's what they applied.
And so you have to follow the protocol.
Yes.
And you don't follow that protocol by running an incendiary campaign. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not.
You know, so
I'm not an Igbo.
But gentlemen, we have to go now. It's getting very interesting. Okay.
Something I observed.
You want to talk now?
Yes, I observed something. It's unfortunate. I never told you. You only know I'm an Ijo man. You call me Ijo activist. You see, I never told you I'm a Ijo activist. Okay. But why did you say that? It's typical. Very typical from the north and the west. You give us names. For a typical Yoruba man, once you are light complexion, Moiboni. That's what you're saying. I never told you I'm an Ijo activist. I'm based in Lagos.
Oh, but you're complaining about that? And you looked at me and said, I look like a northerner. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay, you are not.
So you are angry that they mischaracterize you, but it's okay to mischaracterize me.
You claim, I know that you are from the north.
Okay, you see that?
You are jumping into conclusion.
No, but I never said a tribe.
That's the problem.
I never told you.
All right. Well,
so why are you angry with the fact that he said you are?
No, I just know that we have a problem. The problem is obviously
President Gomorai.
Yes.
This is not the first time you'll be addressed as an Ijo activist here on this program. Well, if you are coming to debunk that now, then it is noted.
I would have preferred Niger Delta activists.
All right. Well, that is noted now. You are telling it to Nigerians now. That
tell us, is a lawyer from which part of the country?
I'm a Nigerian.
He's saying he's a Nigerian.
We have. I am an activist from Niger Delta. Where are you from?
Well, I'm a Nigerian, and I speak for the interests of Nigeria.
No, you speak for the interests of a particular section of the north.
It's my right. If I have to. If that's the way you look at it, it's my right.
We have the freedom of expression, and you've just expressed yourself, and he's also expressing himself.
Well, but I wish that this conversation was about the real issues that we've come here to talk about.
Yes, they are the real.
Look, your final thoughts. Just a moment, Presidor. Just a moment, Presidor. Your final thoughts on the program.
Look, we have a country to run, and we have a people to look at their welfare. All this noise, the sensationalism, the loudest noises, the pontifications, the positioning and posturings. I'm right. You are wrong. It is we versus them. It's not going to move us forward. The fact is that we need leaders who can put on the shelf their personal interests and ambition and work for the progress of this country across party lines. That's what we need.
Okay,
the weaponization of ethnicity and religion is not taking us anywhere.
President Gomorai, your final thought on the program.
I agree with him in the last statement. But the truth is this. A particular section of the country has been seen as not to be reckoned with. It's unfortunate. That's the truth. And that section is my section. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth. I don't have it. He said the truth, yes, but they just see us as nobody. Nobody. It's unfortunate.
And you don't want to be seen as a Ijo activist?
No, I said, because you have your reason.
Well, it is very interesting on the program
but that's
this Monday morning.
If you carry
gentlemen, I must say many thanks for coming on the program this morning. Well, President Gomorai now, Niger Delta activist and also a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Are you savvy?
Well, I hope the camera can just pick him to just show his face. You're right. Well, political consultant and also legal practitioner Kurtis Adiba, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. And that's how far we can go on Call Digest this Monday morning. Well, let's come together and make Nigeria great. Till I come your way again, I remain Emmanuel Ajayi. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.